What's going on, guys? Aqua back with another video, and yes, it is finally time. The 2023 New York Music Awards. So the way this is going to work is, I mentioned this earlier, but I've got tons of different categories, and I have 5 nominations for each, and I'm going to tell you all who the nominations are and who I think the best, candidate or the winner is in each category. I'm really excited to give this to you. It's really cool, I think, that I'm even able to do this. It really shows how much music is really out there if you go and look. And I'm really excited to show you all, what I've been listening to, what's been out there for the past year of 2023. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting, we're gonna start light. We're gonna start light, starting with the best freestyle of the year. And the nominations I had were Conway the Machine, Funk Flex, Don Q, On the Radar, Lady London with the Red Bill. That kind of was on, that kind of came under the radar. You may not have checked that out, but that was super, super good. Rhyme schemes were crazy dense. Mickey Fax gave us one of the best and one of the longest when analyzing that one took just forever just because of how dense the bars were. I really like what he was talking about. But for the length of time, the variation of the bars, and as well as all the different stuff he was talking about, I gotta give the dub to Shootin' 93 on Hot 97 for the best freestyle of the year. Let's heat it up a little bit. Next, we're gonna have storytelling tracks. And for this one, the nominations are going to be Damn by Dave East, Dear Dennis by Lola Brooke, June 22nd by Lil TJ, No Time by Lady London, Damn by Dave East, and Auntie's Crystals by Jay Skis. I really loved all of these songs. Storytelling is one of my favorite kinds of hip hop. June 22nd was a real ascension for TJ lyrically, and I was really impressed that he was able to talk about such a difficult event with so much clarity. No Time was a beautiful relationship cut, really kind of reminded me of that We Cry Together sort of Marshall Mathers LP, just that toxicity between two people, but they executed it so well. The rhymes were fire. Damn by Dave East was a super long and more drawn out story with the chorus of Biggie that was fire. And Dear Dennis was such a powerful ode to Lola Brooke's father, who is, I believe, currently incarcerated. And it was really cool for Lola Brooke to get that vulnerable. But I gotta give the winner to Jay Skis. Jay Skis is one of the best storytellers that we have in New York currently. He's a part of Drumwork, Conway's label. And the way that he's able to just go through the story of his life and talk about what different family members meant to him, and all of that is just so impressive to me. So I'm going to give the winner of Best Storytelling Record to Auntie's Crystals by Jay Skis. Whew, all right. Best Dance Record. And this is something that I was surprised. We actually had a lot of these this year. To be honest, I could have had more than 5 nominations. It's kind of crazy. So for this one, we had 179 Delhi, which is a leading single from Boz's record. I really like the beat. And I love to see Boz just having fun on the record. Super fun. Get Loud. And this is probably my favorite Coi Leray track, ever. I'm surprised this wasn't a hit. The chorus was super infectious. The beat was super triumphant. And it kind of reminded me of that marching band type, that homecoming game type energy. It was really, really good. You got Delhi by Ice Spice, one of the best hits of the year. Ice Spice really came into her own. I spoke on the Song of the Year video, but Ice Spice really killed it. And the music video for that was absolutely fire. Not a Game by Ron Suno. This was probably the first combination of dance and drill that I ever heard, and I was really impressed with it. And we have Coi Leray back in the mix, but this time behind Lola Brooke for Don't Get Me Started on the Dennis's Daughter album. And this was a really good cut. I like how there was multiple features on this. It wasn't just one person handling the whole thing. So you had somebody on the chorus giving us a fire chorus, Lola Brooke laying down her verse, and then again Coi Leray proving that lyrically she is leveling up. The winner, I'm going to have to go with Delhi by Ice Spice. So much energy, so many quirky lines, And definitely, I think the song that inspires me to get up and move the most out of any of these dance songs. So absolutely, we're gonna go with Deli for the winner of the best dance song of the year. Next up, now let's heat things up a little bit. Let's get into EPs. This was easily the hardest for me to pick, just because this was like the highest level category. There's no weak moments on here. Everybody in this section was super super fired. I'm super proud of everybody. Honestly, you could have given the win to anybody depending on what you value. We have Here Damn by Capella Gray. We got Before BOA by A Boogie. We got Like by Ice Spice. We got Hip Hop Volume 50 by Swiss Beats. And Pain Provides Profit by Jay Skis and Conway the Machine. By the way I define an EP is 7 songs or less. Or if it's like clearly marked as like an EP or an in-between album. Something like that. So this one, I'm going to have to give this to Before BOA. It was really close to me between Pain Provides Profit and Before BOA. But I think that musically, I would give it to Before BOA. Lyrically, I would give it to Pain Provides Profit. But I think that the musical difference between Pain Provides Profit and BOA is larger than the lyrical difference between Before BOA and Pain Provides Profit. I feel like A Boogie really provided a narrative experience. If you go, backwards, starting from Did Me Wrong Up, and I really feel like he executed that well. And it honestly gives me a lot of excitement for whatever Better Off Alone is gonna bring us. So BOA EP of the year, absolutely fire, no misses. All right, and next, I don't like to spread too much negativity, so we're just gonna get this about the way. Worst album of the year, and there was definitely enough this time. There was definitely enough this time for me to give a worst album of the year. Some of these might surprise you, some of these won't surprise you. I listened to some of these, I listened to all of these, but I reviewed some of these. Decided not to review some of these just because they were so bad, but whatever. We got Jug Season by Jay Critch, and this is, I think, the album that just kind of definitively showed me we gotta let Jay Critch go, bro. He's not going back to his prime. The album was bloated, repetitive, with mediocre lyrics and no interesting song ideas really. From Fruit of Love, and this is just a great example of why versatility is overrated. Not everybody is built for every style, and Dusty Locane proved that by dropping one of the worst attempts at a love ballad album I have ever seen in my life. Next up, we have Here to Stay, which I don't get it. I want to get it. I really, really want to like Bronx Drill, male Bronx Drill, that is. I don't get it. And Didi Osama is a great example of, it's basically an amalgamation of everything I don't like about Bronx Drill. Super weird and offbeat flows, overly strained vocals, terrible lyrics, just it was just no. It was just a no. And then Coke Boys 6, which I'm sad because last year French Montana came out with a record that I actually really liked. But Coke Boys 6 was kind of business as usual. French Montana getting a bunch of people to come up on an album. And everybody just kind of underperforming. I was kind of shocked because I never understand how compilation albums are bad. It always blows my mind. And then we have And Then You Pray For Me, which is just one of the worst attempts at trying to modernize your sound by Westside Gunn. I understand that there were really good cuts on there, such as Mama's Prime Time and Kitchen Lights, but as an overall listen, it really just was not great. The track presence by Westside Gunn was not good. The cohesion was not there at all. The song ideas were pretty terrible, and and even some of the beats that are supposed to be modern sound just like 08, 09, at most 2015. It doesn't even really sound like modern. It just sounds like newer than what It just sounds like the era beyond boom bap, which is not even new anymore. So no, I did not like And Then You Pray For Me. But in my opinion, out of these, the worst record has to be Coke Boy 6, just because I gotta give it up to French Montana. I don't know how you get all those people on a album. You get Gangsta Grillz on an album, and you still trash. Like, that's impressive to me. And so for that, we have to award French Montana Worst Album of the Year, Coke Boy 6. All right, and now we get into the heavyweights. First up, Best Drill Album of the Year. We got Splash Brothers, which was a decent mixtape by Fedor Luciani and Rowdy Rebel. I can tell that this is Rowdy Rebel's way of doing put-ons and stuff like that. And it wasn't bad. It just felt pretty run-of-the-mill drill stuff and didn't really push the sound in any way. And with the sound as oversaturated as drill, it just didn't stay in my rotation all that heavy. But there were a couple of valid songs on there. We got Without Warning, which is Favi's mixtape that dropped recently. And honestly, I really liked this. I really liked the growth in Favi's writing. And I felt like he really showed up. But unfortunately, the mixing was pretty off. And the Kanye feature was pretty terrible. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this and think it's a pretty underrated listen. We have Sorry for the Wait, which is, I think, the closest I'm ever going to get to really enjoying a Bronx drill record. I really enjoyed what B Love had to offer. I really liked the production, and I was able to kind of sink my teeth in that and not pay as much attention to the specific words. I also think that he rolled the beats a little bit better in this one, so I really enjoyed that. We also have another nomination by Ice Spice, Like, which was probably the biggest drill record of the year, and was a really big surprise, considering what people thought of Ice Spice's capabilities at the time. But she really showed up on this record and dropped solid bangers and really fun songs, and the deluxe was really solid too. So yeah, Like by Ice Spice. But I gotta give the winner to Boy Meets World by Sleepy Hollow. And while this project has definitely regressed for me, I don't like it as much as I used to, I will say that Sleepy Hollow was absolutely firing on all cylinders. I felt like his rapping was really good, from the more deep and vulnerable stuff to the more punchline stuff and the more excitable oriented stuff. I felt like he was doing everything to a solid level. I do wish that some of the vulnerable stuff was a bit more poignant and more specific, or that he found a better way to express it. But compared to a lot of the other drill guys right now, I feel like he's so good at being honest, and it's really dope to see somebody with such rapping ability. The production on here is some of the best of the year. I really enjoyed the soul chops in the mix on the drill beats. The acoustics really fleshed out the soundscape and made it feel complete, like this drill, like I talked about it, when the album came out. This drill soul, right? This drill soul, absolutely fire. And then, second to last one, we got Best Melodic Project of the Year. And this one was probably the craziest, the best, with the heavy hitters this year. We got 222 by Lil TJ. Beautiful growth and maturity by TJ. More in the way that I think that he learned to express himself better. But also musically, this was the most interesting that TJ has ever been, and definitely stands next to, if not surpasses, GOAT. You got Tech, which is one of the best albums of this year. I think in general, one of the best mainstream albums this year. Tech really came into his own, dropping fire chorus after fire chorus after fire chorus. And while the production was a little bit monotonous, I do really enjoy the effort that Tech has been putting into his music, and it makes me so proud to be a Tekka fan, because you can tell how much effort he's putting into the musicality of what he does, and I really been enjoying his melodies. Before BOA again, y'all heard what I had to say about it earlier. Got Here Damn, which is a pretty standard run-of-the-mill Capella Gray record. Solid melodies, solid vocal inflections, that New York writing that's just so emblematic of who Capella Gray is. Nothing crazy sonically happening, but still really enjoyable, and it's definitely sort of started my journey of learning to appreciate Capella Gray's music. And then we got Koi. I was sad because I don't think it's gonna show up in my top 10 albums, but I did want to give this album a shout out because I feel like this is really Coi Leray understanding what she is good at and then really embodying those things. The melodies on this are pretty solid. I felt like while not every song on here was a hit, I feel like vocally she is finding her way, and definitely this is a large improvement from Trendsetter in my opinion. And I feel like once she develops a stronger artistic standard and make sure to remove all the misses, Coi Leray could be one of the strongest artists we have of this generation. The winner, I'm going to go ahead and give this to 222. Y'all know how much I like this album when it came out. It's got so many spins from me, and I really appreciate the effort that TJ put into dropping a solid body of work regardless of the mainstream appeal. And last but not least, Best New Artist. And this was what I was most surprised about because I did not expect there to be so many different candidates, but dear Lord, there are so many different candidates this year. We got Lola Brooke, Ice Spice, Lady London, Lil Mabu, and Scarlett. Lola Brooke has been absolutely fire this year, coming out with her debut album that was really good, as well as getting a fire hit out there with Don't Play With It, as well as Here I Come. I really like Lola Brooke's presence, and she's a super unique voice in the world of New York music, and I cannot wait for her career to blossom, as well as her artistic abilities to improve. Ice Spice, which honestly had like the biggest splat and really did put New York music on the map from a mainstream perspective with hit after hit after hit after hit. It's honestly pretty incredible how many times Ice Spice has struck gold, and it's really dope to see that a New York artist is being so creative and so inventive with what they're deciding to put out without being worried about how others may perceive their music. And it's also great to see that music being received well by the larger fandom. We got Lil Mabu, who I'm not the biggest fan of personally, but I cannot deny the man's hit making, and he's made a lot of waves, a lot of hits, a lot of views, as well as the fact that I will continue to say this even though I'm not a big fan of his lyrical content. I think he does have a lot of talent as a rapper. Even his melodic cuts on his earlier album was really solid. So I really, shout out to Lil Mabu. And we have Scarlett, who doesn't quite have a debut album out yet, but has a couple of really solid hits with No Statements and This Is New York. And really, I just feel like has so much potential, definitely has the ability to rap, and I'm really excited to see where she goes from here in terms of her artistic progression. But y'all probably saw this coming. I gotta give Best New Artist to Lady London. I was thinking if I was gonna do it, but like she really did check all the boxes. Fire feature with Sierra and Lola Brooke, the girls. What's it called? One of the best albums of the year. I put it over Utopia personally. Argue with your mama. Okay, Facts with Soul based on the zodiac signs. Check it out. Fire freestyle, as I mentioned earlier, and that's one of the big things. When you're doing stuff, you want to make sure that you're outside, that you're doing stuff, that you're engaging with your fans beyond just album stuff. And it was really cool to see her hop on that freestyle. And I think that from a artistic perspective, out of all of these artists, I think that she's the best one. Lyrically, she's stronger than everybody. Artistically, I think she's stronger than everybody. And I think Lola Brooke gives me the most hope in terms of what New York has in store. And I'm really excited to see her career blossom because I feel like this was such a good starting point, and it's so exciting to see what she can do from here. With that being said, let me know what y'all thought of all these awards. I really enjoyed coming up with these lists and coming up with these nominations. I can't wait to hear what y'all think, who should have won, who was robbed, and all that good stuff in the comment section below. With that being said, this will probably be my last, actually we got a couple more videos to go before the year is over. So yeah, with that being said, peace y'all.